Well, I'm Massimo Tommasoli. I'm the permanent observer for international IDEA to the UN. And the Office of IDEA at the UN works on policy advocacy on issues that are related to IDEA's work and are relevant to the UN agenda. We work also to provide outreach and make our institutional activities and products known at the UN. We do this through side events that address issues relevant to policy debates at the UN. They could take place during sessions of the UN General Assembly or other subsidiary bodies or commissions of the ECOSOC, or during the negotiations that in these years have been taking place on the new Sustainable Development Goals agenda or the post-2015 Sustainable Development Agenda. Democracy has been very important, in my opinion, for the work of the UN, but it might be surprising to know that nowhere in the UN Charter there is an explicit reference to the concept of democracy. Therefore, what we have to deal with is, in fact, something that is key for the work of the UN on development, on peace and security, on human rights, that are the three pillars of UN work, as well as on cross-cutting and important horizontal dimensions like gender equality, and that are not explicitly mentioned as democratic issues, processes, or institutions. Actually, let me give you an example. In the post-2015 development agenda that is being negotiated now at the UN, there is an important chapter that will deal with follow-up and review mechanisms. These mechanisms will be the only way citizens will be able to hold accountable their governments to deliver on the Sustainable Development Agenda post-2015. And we are convinced that these mechanisms are closely related to democratic accountability and democratic processes at the country and even at the subnational level. So, in practice, democracy is very important for the work of the UN, but not all member states of the UN are willing to have these concepts explicitly addressed in policy debates. Therefore, this is a challenge for us because we want to talk about things that are important to member states, but we have to be careful in the language and in the arguments that we make use of. Well, the main challenge is to be relevant and to be capable of influencing the agenda and being relevant also in terms of delivering on the implementation of the UN agenda. Examples range from the work on electoral assistance to parliamentary support to support to increasing and enhancing women's political participation and representation, or the strengthening of and widening of space for civil society organizations and citizens' engagements. And the challenge is really to make use of the experience that we have gained through our work at the regional or global thematic level, which is all work based on the principle of ownership by our member states or by the countries which we work in association with in order to support their own efforts at building democracy. Challenge is always related to conceptualization, capacity to provide effective and understandable information in a timely manner. And also, I would say there is a challenge in terms of working with the bureaucracy, the UN, which is very complicated, not always capable of working together as one UN, And we have to, therefore, help also the Secretariat, the funds, the programs and the agencies to work better together on those issues that are related to our mandate and agenda.